I want to share with you one of my favorite poems and sort of my thought process behind it. It's called A Time for Everything. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to search and a time to give up. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. I share that with you because out of those 28 times, out of those 28 moments in our lives, there's one that seems to be missing that really gets me. There's never a time to quit. Never a time to quit. But what makes us quit? Practically speaking, I think there's two things that stick out to me, at least. It's, for one, my tendency to forget. My tendency to forget where I came from, what I've overcome already, forgetting how I can accomplish these things, how I can get over this, how I am worthy, how I am valued. Sometimes I forget these things and it makes it a bit more difficult to persevere when there's times to tear down and times to build. But you have to remember that failure is a foundation. It's not a mistake. So that's the first thing, I think. The second one is the tendency not only to forget, but to take that a step further. It's the tendency to forget that I'm not alone. I think sometimes we think we're alone in this when God says that there's never a time that I'm alone and a time for everything. So think about that. Think about what things you forget and think about, what do you do when you isolate? Do you feel more inclined to quit? There's a time for everything, but never a time to quit.